Hello, everyone. Appreciate everyone being here today. My hair, my beautiful. Oh, wait a second. No, it isn't. How's it going? Hello and welcome to Friday afternoon here on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/Dungeons and Dragons/live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. Thank you very much for watching on an abbreviated Friday broadcast. Hey, Wanatuk, forehand, I'm on Wayfinder, just going to be killing time for about a half hour, earning some XP, that sort of thing. So yes, this will be a short show, somewhere in the range of a half an hour, that I assure you, and I'm lying, has nothing to do with the fact that I have a 1 o'clock showing of Wonder Woman to get to, about 20 minutes away from the office. Yes, I am seeing Wonder Woman today at 1 p.m. We're going to have lunch. There'll be some other people there. So yeah, short broadcast today. So just going to be kind of hanging out, earning some XP. If you're hanging out in Wayfinder with me, I figured I might go and just earn some XP in the wilderness, that sort of thing. I was just I'm doing some epic destinies right now. Clearly, Sharadi is not going to be what this barbarian's final destiny is going to be. But as you can see, I pretty much maxed out both Fury of the Wild, which is probably the one I'll stick with, and Primal Avatar, but I want to make sure I get enough Epic Destiny XP so that I can Epic Reincarnate and start unlocking some of these other trees and all that sort of thing. So that's why I'm in Sharadi. Not doing a whole lot for this build at this point, because I don't really need Wisdom. Dexterity never hurts, but not going to be a big deal for me. Most of this involves range, and this character is not really a ranged character. But, whatever. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to earn the XP, to bring home the lunch. I agree, Fly-Flung Flu. Gal Gadot, if you're listening, I would love to have lunch sometime. I'm sure she'll be calling me any minute now. Forever alone. No, I'm kidding. How's it going, everyone? Hey, Justin over on YouTube. Everyone over on Facebook. In case you're wondering why I'm going to an afternoon show, it's because I got a 5-year-old. He can't come with me because it's not quite appropriate for a 5-year-old. I don't have a babysitter, so I'm completely doing work-related work and going to see a movie in the afternoon. Am I a bad dad? I don't think so. Yes. But not for that reason. No, I'm not. Daily dice. Looks like we're all caught up there. So, I guess what can I talk a little bit about? We have a 50% Guild Renown bonus that kicked off yesterday. It's going through Sunday. So that's good. I apologize, on Wednesday I actually called up, the calendar to see what the bonus was and realized that we had forgotten to put one in. We have it for the whole quarter, but for some reason they misread the calendar because of the week-long vendor boost, so they forgot to do one. So, oops. So they were like, well, what should we do? And I was like, how about a 50% Guild Renown boost? I assure you I don't have sagas I need to turn in this weekend. Abusing power or smart thinking? No. I guess maybe, what do I... Clearly I got a lot of slayers here to do. Don't have a lot in Wayloon yet. Could always do Epic 3-barrel. Yeah, maybe that sounds like a good deal. Maybe I'll do Epic 3-barrel Wilderness just to do stuff. Is there a Chronicle this week? Very good question. Yes. It's going to be done soon. I actually was working on it just prior to this live stream. I took a break to do the live stream here. And then when the movie's done, I'm coming back to the office to get the Chronicle out before I call it a weekend. So yes, I apologize for being delayed. On Memorial Day, we had the day off on Monday, and we've just been busy with various things like Lotra related and things like that. So I just didn't get an opportunity to get the Chronicle written yet. It's being done. I apologize. I need to start figuring out a better schedule here. I don't know if that's going to involve moving the day of something or other or shifting around my schedule somehow, but I need to get more consistent about that, and it is one of the things that I'm well aware of and I do want to do. It's just been a challenge. Which one am I up to? Did I mention when we might start seeing the Cleric stuff referenced in Wednesday's live stream on Lamania? So to back up for those who weren't aware, on Wednesday, Linabelle and I snuck into the Players' Council forums, put up all the Cleric Turn Undead and domain changes, and caused no controversy whatsoever, both inside and outside the building. Okay, so there's a few things I should mention, I suppose, to start with. One, we weren't kidding when we were saying this is early stuff. Early. So, don't be surprised when this stuff gets tweaked quite a bit. But, nonetheless, we did do that. And so it's very early in development. You know, as you could see if you watched the live stream, clearly it was pretty early in development. There's clearly some of the numbers were off, right? And some of these things are going to have to change. But that was kind of the point. We wanted to really give people not only get people excited, because it has been a little slow lately, but we wanted to get people a better sense of what is it that the Players' Council right now is looking at. That sort of thing. If you were looking closely, you may have realized that I perhaps even let the cat out of the bag on a few things that may have made a few people unhappy, but that's okay. Hey, you know, stuff happens. I'm in charge. Darn it. No, I'm not. That's part of the problem, huh? But when is it going to be on Lamania? No time soon is really the answer to that. Update 36 will be on Lamania fairly soon, but in terms of when will the Cleric stuff, we're nowhere near ready to... I mean, the design, the actual development work has barely even begun, if it's even not begun at all on that Cleric stuff. So it's not coming in Update 36. The plan is to potentially do it between Update 36 and Ravenloft. Most likely it'll happen then. So I would expect, in terms of the when on Lamania, I would guess later this summer. But in terms of Update 36, the goal is to try to get it out on Lamania mid to late June. They at least have the first preview, mid to late June. And then release it, depends on how things go, potentially not too long after the July 4th holiday, something like that. We'll see. I suppose I should probably get a Cleric here. Is my rage selective? No. There we go. That'll help. Yeah, so I would say, well, I don't know if it'll be June 16th. I had thought maybe it was going to be June 16th, but then someone afterwards was like, you're being pretty optimistic there afterwards. So I don't know if it's really going to be June 16th or perhaps, a week after or something like that. But something-ish around that time frame, I'd say. I don't think I've got that on Wayfinder here. Worth putting that into the bound to account storage. Clearly we caused a little bit of controversy with these Cleric changes. I think in general, here's I guess what I would say the most surprising thing to me personally is I've been playing this game since 2006, and there is not a single point during that time that anyone has ever told me that Turn Undead is both useful and effective. Until Wednesday's live stream, when all of a sudden we started hearing about how effective Turn Undead was for Epic Elite end game questing and all that sort of thing. I was like, really? When did that happen? I still don't entirely believe it. But there's a couple of people on the forums who insist that yes, they are doing things just fine on Epic Elite, just fine on endgame content, and everything we're doing is designed to personally hurt them. So, seriously though? I mean, I've been playing Clerics. I guess I stopped using Turning Undead just because of the general thinking that Turn Undead is utterly useless after, say, level 20. I found it mildly useful in low-level, Matu quests. But clearly I'm wrong. I mean, there are some people out there who are like, yeah, Turn Undead's great right now. It's like, really? Really? I wonder, though, how much... So, one of the other pieces of news that sort of hit the development team with the feedback from Wednesday's live stream was that people apparently have been using it as a easy button in riding the storm out. I don't know that we ever actually intended those million hit point skellies to be turnable in riding the storm out. I would be surprised if we did. My guess is that it just wasn't really considered that anyone would even try. Does that mean we're going to nerf it? I don't know. Probably not. It's probably fine. But nonetheless, it was definitely a surprise. It was like, what? They are? They're doing what? But I wonder how much of sort of the feedback against sort of the Turn Undead change has to do with the fact that people really want to preserve being able to do that and riding the storm out, yet pick potentially a different Cleric domain. My gut tells me that that might be a lot of what's going on here. There's a lot of discussion about, what is a nerf. If Turn Undead is better, but you have to take it as part of your domain rather than... If you are able to more frequently destruct things using Turn Undead, but you have to do that by selecting the death domain as opposed to another domain, is that a nerf? I don't really want to make a proclamation on that. It's an interesting discussion. It's not really something I had considered that much. I don't personally, I guess, consider it much of a nerf. I mean, I think what we're going to see in practice, if not in forum theory, is that the heal or the damage done by Turn Undead, as Linabel even kind of referenced in that thread, is enough to basically destroy Undead. It may not be instant, but they're basically going to get destroyed because of the way you're going to be able to jack up that damage. Additionally, with the 10-second stun, you know, some people were like, well, in pen and paper, it's a minute. In DDO, if you actually look at combat, the amount of times that it takes longer than 10 seconds of a stunned mob to die is pretty low. So that 10-second stun is basically going to be enough to wipe out most of the undead that'll be stunned from it. Except for things like million hit point mobs and riding the storm out, but, you know, nonetheless, if that matters to you, you can take the death domain. And I think that people are going to find in practice that it opens up a lot of build choices, that even if you, for some reason, are one of those small percentage point folks who have been doing a lot of insta-killing of undead, I think you're still going to have plenty of options to both do that and do other things as well. On the feedback that, you know, Death Domain's the only good one, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. I'm sorry, but no. There's a ton of good domains in that tree, or in that domain list. I mean, come on, did you look at it? I do expect to see some of the numbers get adjusted pretty significantly. Like, say, the one that gives you 800 hit points as a cleric. I think that's likely to change, but we'll see. I suppose it's true. Shoemaker says in chat, if you're soloing on a cleric, it takes much longer than 10 seconds to kill a stunned mob. That may be. Of course, you know, clerics are going to be getting not insignificant boost in their melee ability as well, so. But, you know, we did want to caution strongly on the live stream that, you know, hey, we really meant it when we said this is early stuff. So, you know, take that into consideration, that this stuff will most likely change pretty significantly. Where are you? Did I leave the soul stone behind? Oops. Guess I did. Sorry, Onyx Panther. Sun should get the old blowy uppy. I think that that's some pretty interesting feedback, something we'll have to take into account. I remember asking Sev, gosh, maybe a month ago, a little bit about that. About why we were putting the insta-kill in the death domain. And the general thinking was that would be the domain, one of the most appealing domains for people who care about their DC, which is currently a very popular thing for clerics and favored souls. Remember, favored souls aren't getting domains, but so for the DC spec insta-killers, you know, if you're already using destruction on death-to-death, things like that, you are probably investing heavily into your DC, and so to make that most effective, you would probably want to have your turn undead fall into that as well. So maybe lore-wise, you're right that, say, a sun domain might make the most sense, but the thinking at the time was really more about practicality in the current game, which is that DC casters would probably be the ones to most take advantage of insta-kill and turn undead, so putting it into the death domain made the most sense. Hey, Moosey Pants 33, it's nice to see you. Haven't seen you in a little while. I wonder what you and Bonnie have been up to. If you're still doing DDO, that's cool. I'm kind of wondering what's been up with you folks. All right. What is the free item of the week? It is a Big B's orange hand times 5. And because I just did the Chronicle, I just saw that. Let me see. Got the coupon code here. I tell you, it's gotten really hot and sunny out, and it's just messing with my sinuses. Bigby's Orange Guiding Hand times 5, and I don't have the coupon code in front of me, unfortunately. Call up email to do that. It's Grabby something. I think it might just be Grabby, but let me check. Let me go back through some of this feedback that I'm sure I might have caused. Are the expansions Menace of the Underdark and Shadowfell Conspiracy ever going to be made available in the DDO store again for DDO points? Is it official that it will only be sold in the DDO market going forward? I would like to say that it might be available in the future. Yep, okay, Grabby. Grabby. Grabby for the Bigby's Guiding Hand times 5. Orange. It's not that we don't want it in the DDO store, it's that the DDO store does not support bundle delivery. The way those X-Packs work is they have an account level code behind the scenes, basically like a number string, that gets attached to your account that delivers X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, and all the rest. And some of those are in different codes. And the old DDO store used to be able to apply multiple codes to your account at once, but the new one does not. So getting that to work is proven more problematic than anticipated. So I can't say whether or not it will be in the DDO store in the future. But it's something that I know people would like to do, so potentially it might happen. But it's not going to be happening anytime soon, unfortunately. And I'm sorry about that. Alright. Can I elaborate on all the update this week regarding the additional monitoring into the game which will help us investigate lost items during the reincarnation process? Yes. So we had a game update on Thursday. It was a very small game update. Nothing public-facing, so to speak. But what it did, we are well aware of the uptick in reincarnation issues that people have had. Some of that may simply be a reflection of more people doing epic reincarnation, so something that affects, let's say, 0.5% is going to affect more people if you got more people doing it. But it's of big concern to us. Always has been, and that's something that we're dedicating the resources to right now to fix outside of customer service. So what's going on with Thursday's patch is we had an engineer essentially put monitoring in place to better be able to track what items were in the TR cache, so that when this problem occurs, hopefully we'll be able to better identify what happened to that stuff. Does that mean customer service will suddenly be able to fix people as of Thursday? Probably not, unfortunately. This is what you might call a intermediary fix, and that what it's intending to do is not sort of allow us to start fixing players, but allow us to figure out what we need to do to start fixing players. One of the things we run into with that TR cache issue in particular is whatever's causing that problem is not just causing that problem for the player, but it also means that we're having a difficult time seeing that stuff after the fact. So someone gets in touch with customer service and they're like, hey, all my stuff is gone. Customer service does a query to look at their items and it's like nothing shows up. So that makes it clearly pretty difficult to get everyone their stuff back if you can't actually see that stuff to begin with, right? So part of what this fix is meant to do is allow us to better see that stuff, hopefully, and then work on it so that we can track, okay, so what exactly is happening to this stuff? How do we prevent it from happening? But secondarily, how do we fix it when it does happen? And so that work is starting underway as of Thursday's patch. We're going to be collecting data as this occurs to people over time. Thankfully, or unthankfully, it doesn't happen that often. I mean, I know when it happens to you, it's like the worst thing ever, and because it really sucks. But in actual numbers, it's a very low percentage of the overall reincarnation population. Which also then can make it really difficult because we've been unable to reproduce it in any internal environment. And all the efforts in the past we've done, like, say, copying characters into internal builds, things like that, haven't resolved this issue as well. So what we're doing is, by having this monitoring in place, we should hopefully be able to better get a sense of what's happening and then what we can do to fix it. In an ideal world, hopefully, I mean, the thinking is hopefully we can use this tool to help customer service re-grant those items in the future, but that ability doesn't exist right now. The monitoring, the figuring out what is going on had to take priority. We wanted to get that out like now, which is why we did it kind of short term and on Thursday's patch here. And then reutilizing that technology, hopefully to be able to allow us to create a delivery system, is something that, if everything goes well, hopefully we'll be able to do in the future.
The West Wind's mistress has terrorized
All right.
the air shipping lanes between Cordovan and Stormridge for nearly 2 decades.
I'm about ready to head out here. Let me see what we got. Turning is great for lower heroics, but falls out by epics. That was always my understanding. Clearly, there are people who disagree with that statement, which has been basically the statement that we've heard consistently since 2006. But there's some folks out there who are like, nope. We're using it all the time in high-end, difficult quests. Really? Okay. Hey, Titan. Nice to see you here. I haven't had an issue turning and Legendary Elite riding the Storm out, due to being pure Radiant Servant, so taking Mighty Turning, and then again, I do have a Charisma of 68. Cool. Would it not be simple for the DDO store to deliver an in-game document that delivers just a code that could be entered into the DDO store to redeem the code? I think that some investigation has been done along those lines, but the issue is still it would have to redeem like 5 or 6 different codes. And I'm not sure what the ability to do that is. It would have to basically auto-create codes on the fly, essentially, and then deliver it. I don't know the answer to that, sorry. Also want to see a cart in the DDO store? Yeah, that's also on the long-term agenda. Am I allowed to talk about why DDO is going in a single high-powered domain versus 2 moderate-powered ones? Well, okay. Gosh, I hope I'm not wrong here. My understanding is domains have always been singular in pen and paper, so being able to pick more than one domain doesn't really make sense. Am I wrong about that? Do we have multi-domain clerics in pen and paper? I don't recall that being the case. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Yeah, you are. No, the monitoring is not just for the TR cache. My understanding is it's more holistic than that. It really is just about all the items on, all the things attached to a character ID. Something like that. But we often see it affecting the... I said TR cache because that seems to be the thing people most raise with us. PNP was 2 domains? Okay. Alright, well, I'm an idiot then. I didn't know that. So. But I think given the power level of the domains, that's currently, as stated in the early design doc, that's why the 1, because taking 2 would be crazy talk. But I suppose we could rebalance and allow people to take 2. Will there be an update to Eldritch Knight? I have not heard of plans to update Eldritch Knight, but I would imagine that might be something we'd look at when we get to Wizards and Sorks. For the DC and Necromancy, you need max Wisdom, where the DC for turns will be Charisma. Yeah, you raise a good point there. Except am I wrong that Death Domain just is a jack up of 4 to 6 to just all DCs? Maybe I'm wrong about that. I need to relook again. Any chance we would ever see craftable orbs? Potentially. I'll have to raise that up. I've not heard of any plans to do that. Alright, it is now 12:33, and I have got to get going. I have a date with a lady, a wonderful lady, a Wonder Woman, as it were. Thank you very much for watching Friday afternoon here on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. The Chronicle will be posted late this afternoon when I get back. Have fun, everyone. I will see you again next Wednesday. Have a good weekend.